The Cayo Perico Heist is the best way of earning money in Grand Theft Auto Online, and it doesn't matter how good you are at the game, there's mistakes that can be made everywhere. In today's video, I'm going to be going over tips and tricks that I have used to perfect the Cayo Perico Heist and complete it every single time under 40 minutes, and you can too, as long as you follow the steps in today's video. The first thing that you always want to do when starting up the Gather Intel mission is take a quick look at the hangar. We can see there's coke and we can see there's cash, and then if we take a quick peek up top here, we can see what appears to be more coke. Just like that, we don't need to go anywhere else. We have 2 coke spawns. Now, even if there was only, let's say, weed and 2 cash spawns there, across the strip, directly in front of me over here, is another spawn location of loot. In fact, I can show you that spawn location really quickly. You can check both of these spots in about 30 seconds in total, and you'll know immediately if you have enough loot to fill your bags. There we go, we have another cash spawn. So if we had, what, 3 cash and 1 weed, pretend that wasn't 2 coke, we'd already have enough to fill our bags anyway. I have yet to have a single spawn in Cayo Perico where I could not fill my secondary loot bag from that area and this one over here. Now, yes, I know some of you might say, but Poob, what about getting coke? What about searching the other areas? What about searching North Dock? What about Main Dock? Yes, obviously, if you're only trying to get coke, then I guess go ahead. But if you actually know the numbers, getting 2 coke versus getting 2 weed and cash is only about a $50,000 to $40,000 difference. Which means the amount of time you've wasted trying to find that extra coke spawn, you could have just done a quick excess weapons export for your bunker and earned all that money in about 2 minutes of time. It's not worth it to search all over the island for an additional spawn that's barely going to give you any extra cash, especially after Rockstar has nerfed the amount of money coke makes. So yeah, with my recommendation, I would just fill your loot bag with whatever spawns at those 2 points there. This is another little trick that I feel like most players know, but if you don't, you can climb over that fence there instead of going through that gate, and that allows you to keep your motorcycle and ignore all of the guards that will spawn. Making your way to the communications tower is obviously pretty easy and shouldn't require all too much effort. As we can see on my map, there is a guard right next to the tower we are climbing. If there is a guard there, it means the signal box is going to be on top of the tower. If there's no guard there, then the signal box will always be at the base level. It's a very simple trick, but it's one that can obviously help you out quite a bit. So we can see I have to climb all the way to the top to access the terminal. Once you hack the signal box, there's 2 different things you're going to want to do. The first thing is check the office cameras. And the reason why is because sometimes the office cameras can actually feature 2 paintings. And I always like to check just in case. But we're also going to check the basement really quickly, see what our target is. There you go, pink diamonds. That's pretty sweet. So now we're going to skip the basement storage, and we're going to go to office cam 1 and office cam 2. Let's see, there's no painting there. And then we can check the other side just in case, and no painting. Every now and then you'll get 2 paintings in the office. You can skip all of the secondary targets, hop right into the main compound and leave, but unfortunately, we did not get that. Now, instead of going all the way back to the plane, you know, sometimes what people say is, oh, I just jump off and die and then I leave through the plane. All you have to do is go into the interaction menu and set your spawn location to the Kosatka. Then, instead of going anywhere, once you finish scoping the island, just load into an invite-only lobby. You don't have to save, you don't have to do anything. Once you've scoped out your primary target, and once you've seen your secondary targets that you're going to be grabbing, like I have, that's it. Just load into a new lobby. It's going to spawn you right next to LSIA, and it's going to put you inside of your Kosatka. So this is definitely the fastest way to get back to your sub, and I would highly recommend to take advantage of this. When it comes to approach vehicles, always use the long fin. The Kosatka mission is much more tedious and in general just isn't worth the effort. When doing this mission, I would highly recommend to use the Phantom Wedge if you own one. If you don't own a Phantom Wedge, that is entirely understandable because it's very expensive to purchase one, and you need to own a vehicle warehouse, which most players don't even own. So if you don't own a Phantom Wedge, you're going to have to remember the spawn locations of the semi-trucks that will automatically be there for you, and then you'll grab one of the semi-trucks and bring it over to the police station. But if you own a Phantom Wedge, land near the police station, but not directly next to it because you'll get cops on you. Go to Manage Vehicles and scroll until you find the Phantom Wedge. Honestly, if you don't own one, I would definitely recommend to buy the Phantom Wedge at some point. Yes, it will set you back quite a bit of money, but it makes life much easier for the Cayo Perico Heist and that's obviously important. So all we're going to do now is drive right over to the Longfin, and we're going to steal it. And the next really important trick is once we steal the trailer. So as you can see, we're going to drive into here. We're going to take the trailer. Pull out snacks if you're worried about dying. You can see I actually took a lot of damage there. So having snacks pulled out is not a bad idea. But as you can see, the game is now telling us to lose the cops. And what better way to do that than simply stopping our truck, hopping out of it, and then pulling out any type of explosive. Specifically sticky bombs I love to use. Just throw a sticky bomb on the ground, blow yourself up with it. The reason why is because the moment you do this, you're going to lose cops, and now you're not going to have to worry about losing them at all. It's way quicker. Drive the trailer over to the docks, and you're done. Once you've brought the Phantom Wedge and the trailer to the docks, all you're going to do is press the pause menu, and you're going to go into a new invite-only lobby. This is going to be the fastest way to travel back to your Kosatka. And again, time is money. Saving time is really, really important. So there you go. You're now back inside the Kosatka. The game is going to spawn you very close to where the Longfin was delivered, which is right about here. And that's very important because this building is where the Merryweather HQ helicopter is going to spawn. So all we're going to do is hop on to our planning screen inside our Kosatka and start up the weapons prep. Always do the weapons prep after delivering the Longfin. So we go over to weapons prep and we press crack shot. As you can see, we have Merryweather HQ as an option. Now you have two different opportunities. The first one is just load into online and load into a new lobby. But an even quicker way to completely skip this mission is by hopping on to your missiles and blowing up the helicopter. You're going to see me do that right now, launching the missile. And then as we can see, the game wants us to head right over to this location over here. So if we head over to the area where the helicopter would normally spawn, you'll actually see it right there. So there's the helicopter. And if we just crash our missile right into it, boom, heist prep failed. Also, just in case you're new to the channel and you're wondering, Poob, why the heck are you destroying the helicopter for the mission you're about to do? That is because the Merryweather HQ mission sucks. It takes about 10-ish to 15 minutes to complete, where the different spawn location like 707 Vespucci, Penrith, any of the building names only take like 4 minutes to complete. So it's much more efficient to just blow up the helicopter or load into a new lobby than it is to suffer and complete the mission. So that's what I'll say. So just like that, now we can just hop back onto the planning screen. So we stand up. We can't shoot that missile for another 55 seconds, but now we can just walk right over here back onto the planning screen. And we can go back to Crackshot, and it gives us Merryweather HQ again. Well, again, we have another missile right here. So instead of loading into a new lobby, I can just hop onto this seat, and we can launch another missile. Now, if you didn't purchase this option, as I said, the other really quick way to ignore this is just loading into a new lobby and having your spawn location set to the Kosatka. But there was something really fun about just blowing up the helicopter, so let's fly it back over here one more time. And you can actually see, for some reason, the helicopter's in a different spawn location, but there you go. Helicopter taken out again. Heist prep failed. The missiles are both reloading, which is completely fine. Back off the screen again. And let's see this time if the game's going to give us a normal weapon spawn location. And there you go, 707's Vespucci. So that's what we want. Now we can hop back into our Sparrow, leave, and get the weapons. Make sure that you land on the roof of the building whenever you do one of these missions, because it's going to be way easier to leave through the roof. And this is where we break into my favorite trick, which I've showcased for a while now on the channel, and that is the stone hatchet. If you don't have the stone hatchet, the way to get it is to complete mods missions around the map. But when you get your hands on the stone hatchet, what you can do is get this rampage ability. And the rampage ability makes you basically invulnerable, and then you can just run around, killing all of the enemies that spawn in you just like this, and then we can just pull out my gun, kill these guys over here, just like so, and we're done. So that's this whole part over here. There you go, kill that guy, and light that guy on fire. So that's all done. Now we just got to search the office for the gun locker, which is right here. We have to wait for Pavel to stop yapping to us, but pretty basic stuff as you can see. After delivering the weapons, you have 3 more options: plasma cutter, fingerprint cloner, and cutting torch. Now the plasma cutter is super easy, and this one can be a little tricky, but I can give you some basic advice that actually goes a long way. All you want to do is land your helicopter or oppressor right outside of where the plasma cutter location is, like you've seen me do right here. Then what I personally like to do is pull out the minigun. The reason why is because the minigun just obliterates everything. So we can see I'm going to roll around this corner here, and I'm going to use the minigun to just blow everything up. Any single enemy that spawns, we can kill with the minigun very easily. There we go, there we go. So that's it. Basically, everybody that was here is dead. Now, we can simply run back to our helicopter, and what we're going to do is we're going to blow up one car's worth of enemies. So we take out this car here, and take out the enemies that spawn from this one car. The reason why is because the game is going to continuously spawn cars if there is more than 2 of them destroyed. So if we were to blow up that car, for example, you'll see if I wait a teeny bit, more cars will spawn. Yep, there you go. You can see the 2 blips on the map. But it's only after you destroy both of the cars. So usually what I'll do is I will kill 2 or 3 of the people out of the 4, leave the last person that barely does any damage to me, and then I'll take my helicopter and leave. As you saw, super easy. If you don't own a minigun, use a homing launcher, blow up the vehicle, use a rifle, kill the rest, and do the same thing. It's very basic, and you can see we are immediately flying back. Now, instead of flying all the way back to the Kosatka, which is off in China from where we've left it, instead of going there, simply go to service vehicles, go to Kosatka, and request it. And what'll happen is it's going to change the spawn location from where it was all the way off in the docks, and it's going to bring it straight over to Vespucci, which is way faster and makes life a lot easier. This is one very basic trick, but it will actually save you a lot of time in the long run. Another silly trick that you might not think of is landing your helicopter on the front of the Kosatka instead of landing it inside of it. A lot of people will land the helicopter inside the Kosatka. And don't get me wrong, it works, but it's much faster to just immediately hop out of the helicopter and go right into the front. There's much less loading time. And the best part is that your helicopter automatically gets destroyed. So if we go to the back of our submarine, we can see that our Sparrow is already resupplied there. So it's not like you have to worry about a cooldown or anything of that nature. Next, that brings us to the warehouse mission. And this one, well, it's actually really simple. This first mission, all you gotta do is throw an explosive. And, yes, it does kill you. However, it also kills basically every enemy inside of the building. And as you can see, the game's gonna spawn you right outside of the warehouse again, and then we just have to kill this one guy here. You actually don't have to worry about dying in this mission, because you can't hack the laptop until Pavel's done speaking anyway, so you kinda just have to sit here and wait for him to be done yapping. So, instead of worrying about dying or anything like that, just throw an explosive in here. It kills everybody and actually makes it really, really easy to deal with. For the archive mission as well, it does not matter if you alert the cameras. All you have to do is grab the fingerprint cloner and leave. And you're going to see me do that here. I've always seen, especially a lot of beginners, shoot out those cameras there. It's just not worth it. You don't have to worry about alerting anybody. So we can see I've grabbed the fingerprint cloner. And then when we leave the warehouse, there are going to be 2 enemies that spawn on us. But it's the exact same treatment as with the plasma cutter mission. If they get too close to me, I'll just kill 2 of the drivers and then ignore the rest. Or, I don't have to worry about them at all. Like, it spawns them so far away from you most of the time that, as you can see, they're not even a threat. Like, they don't spawn on you. So, don't worry about alerting the cameras in any of these missions. It doesn't matter. The only one that you actually want to stay a little bit stealthy for is the plasma, or the cutting torch. Sorry, my brain was drawing a blank. And once again, because we requested our Kosatka at Vespucci, instead of having to fly all the way back to where we were, we can just fly right over to Vespucci, and we're there in a moment. I feel like I don't have to say this, but for this mission, the game wants you to put on a hard hat. If you do, you won't be detected by any of the enemies down here. This is a trick that, like, everybody knows, but I still figured I'd say it just in case you don't. Well, that was pretty easy. I didn't expect it to be in the first one. Well, there you have it. Now that brings us to the finale. We are already able to start it up. So, what are we going to do? Well, first of all, approach vehicle, obviously Longfin. Infiltration point. This is a huge mistake that a lot of players make. Most people only have North Dock scoped, and they enter through North Dock, and then they drive the Longfin all the way over to the airstrip, then all the way around the entire island to make it to the main compound. Do not do that. Scope out Main Dock if you haven't done it. You can see where the location is. Take a photo of it, because Main Dock is much closer to the airstrip and much closer to the actual main compound. It will save you 3 minutes just going to main dock. That's a lot of time. If even you're replaying the Cayo Perico Heist over and over and over, if you do it 10 times, you've wasted 30 minutes if you go to main dock. That is a huge trick. Obviously, go through the drainage tunnel. It doesn't matter which escape point you choose, so ignore that. Doesn't matter what time of day you set. Weapon loadout, doesn't matter what you do there. So now we are able to actually start it up. So what we're going to do to begin with is immediately head to the airstrip. And we are going to grab what appeared to be 2 coke spawns that we earlier saw. Well, it was only about 20-ish minutes ago, because we're already starting up the finale. The Cayo Perico Heist really is that easy to do all the preps for and everything. You shouldn't be too challenged when making your way through. So let's head over to the airstrip. Make sure that you don't drive too fast here or you're going to beach the boat. Just park it right before the shore. That way it doesn't float off into Narnia. Now that we've done that, we're going to run right over to the airstrip. There's only one guard you're going to have to kill, and it's this one right in front of us. It does not matter where you shoot him. Like, if you kill him there, no guard will see him. There's no jeep that drives by this dead body. You don't have to worry about anything being alerted, which is actually really, really nice. Then we're going to make our way right inside here. So let's head to this first area. And let's use the bolt cutter, or not the bolt cutters. You can also use bolt cutters, but for some reason you're not allowed to bring your own. You have to steal them off the island, which is ridiculously stupid. But there you go. Use the plasma cutter, cut through, and grab our coke spawn. I'm actually interested to see how much money the coke spawn is. Now, this is a trick that a lot of players don't know. You can see that I'm actually not touching anything, yet my character is still grabbing the coke. How is that possible? Well, here's a little trick. While you're grabbing an item, and this works, by the way, for the Diamond Casino heist as well, while you're grabbing an item, if you press the pause button, for me it's the little 3 dashes on my Xbox remote, and you bring out the map, if you were repeatedly pressing the grab button while you do that, the game will automatically continue grabbing the coke or whatever it is for you. This is actually quite nice, especially, as I said, if you're doing something like the Diamond Casino heist and you got to sit there and grab for 8 years. It's actually really, really nice. So we're going to climb up here, and we're going to now get the secondary coke, which did spawn up here. But so far we have $211,000 of coke. That's honestly not much of a difference from getting like 2 weed in cash. Like, people don't realize that, but here, I'll show it again. So I spam the A button, then I press pause, and you can see my character is going to keep grabbing it even without me touching a single button. It's really easy, and it's actually quite fun. So there you go. We have now $422,000 in secondary targets. And now we just run right back to our boat, and we're done. As I said, every single time I have checked the airstrip and the shed across from the airstrip right there, I have always been able to fill my loot bag. I've not had one moment where I haven't been able to, which is obviously really, really nice. And as you'll see, my boat hasn't really drifted away from shore at all, so we can just swim right back into my boat. Now that you've made your way to El Rubio's compound, you're just going to hop out of the boat, and you're going to dive into the back. If you press left on the D-pad, you're able to pull out rebreathers, and then we're going to swim right over to the drainage port. By the way, if you do not have the drainage port as an option, it's because you have not scoped it. When doing the Gather Intel mission, you have to scope the drainage port. This is obviously super important. So if you're wondering, like, how the heck am I using the drainage port, that is something you're going to need to do during the Gather Intel mission. But now we're just going to cut through the gate. Now, a lot of people actually don't know this, but you only lose the Elite Challenge if you get detected inside of El Rubio's compound. What that means is after you escape his compound, if you do get alerted, it won't actually affect the Elite Challenge. It's only inside the compound, which is actually pretty nice, and it was something I was confused on for a while. Now, I'm going to show you the best pathing for the Cayo Perico Heist by far. What you're going to do is you're going to follow this fence right here. I'm actually going to do it pretty slowly so you don't get discombobulated. So we're going to follow that fence there. We're going to take a left turn, follow this tree, take a right turn, and we're going to jump over this fence. Doing that, there's going to be a guard that normally stands here if you're faster, and that guard is going to walk away, and he's going to stand right over there. So then you can ignore that guard, run over here, go up the stairs, and congrats, you have ignored every single guard, and you are now at the main compound. Now, a guard is going to walk down these stairs, so wait for him to walk, punch him in the face with his pistol, and now you can make your way directly into the vault. So what we're going to do, first of all, is we're going to open the safe here. And the reason why is because we can grab secondary targets being cash. So now we have 482,000. Now, because we actually have the gate keys, let me show you a little secret area that some people might not know about. So if we jump off this wall here, we can hop down here, and then we can walk around, climb over this fence, and this is where the gate keys are able to be used. So the gate keys allow you to actually kind of make a quicker entrance and escape to grab the second, or the actual primary target. So we can see here, there's another fingerprint scanner, but this one only requires 1 fingerprint, where the other one requires 3. So this is actually quite nice. So we just do this hack really quick. There you go. Well, kind of messing this up a little bit, but there you go. Done. 10 seconds, and the hack is completely over. So obviously, this is actually quite nice. So now that the hack is done, we're just going to walk through this gate, and we are going to steal the pink diamond by walking over here. Now, do be a little careful when entering. If you do get the keys, right? You're not guaranteed to get the keys, and if you're not, you're just going to enter right through there. But if you do get the keys, be a little careful when jumping down, because it can be a little bit scary. Now, I know that there's a lot of people which will, like, search the whole area for the gate keys. If the one guard I kill doesn't drop them, I just don't bother, because it's not worth my time. It only takes an additional 20 seconds for me to get the other 2 fingerprints done, so it's not really that big of a deal. But now we have the pink diamond, and that is $1,782,000 of a take. So what we're going to do now is we're going to head over here, and we're going to walk through this gate, and we can obviously see if there's a guard that would see us, and we can see that there isn't. So let's jump over here. Let's climb up this fence, and it does not matter if anybody detects you or even sees you when you have escaped. You can stand in front of all these guards, just walk to the exit, and you're done. At this point, we have now gotten ourselves the elite challenge. We've gotten our primary target, all of our secondary target. All we have to do is leave the compound. Well, we already left the compound. All we have to do is leave. That's it. We're done. And escaping Cayo Perico is honestly the easiest part. In front of us here is going to be a guy on a motorcycle. All you're going to do is bop him on the face. You're going to take his motorcycle. And as I said, it doesn't even matter if you get detected at this point. It really doesn't. So you can shoot at this guy here if you want. It's always a little fun mini game to see if I can hit him in the face. And then we're going to jump off of this ramp, I like to call it, but this little island here. So what we're going to do is we're going to ramp it off just like this. There you go. See how far we can make it. And we are now going to swim. You can see that there are these 3 underwater mines. All we have to do is swim to this last one right in front of me. That's all we got to do. So I'm going to swim right to this last one. I'm going to let go of my remote. We're done. We finished the heist. You're going to see in about 5 or so seconds, the game is going to cut to black, and that'll be it. So I'm going to put down my remote. There you go. El Rubio's no longer searching for me. Done. That's the whole heist. You don't have to lift a single finger. You don't have to do anything. This is why the Cayo Perico heist is so incredibly easy, and why I'm able to do it under 40 minutes over half the time. So obviously you guys can guess how fast I was able to do this, and obviously I wasn't even trying to speedrun or anything, but I bet you I did it in about 8 minutes. We'll see. Heist passed. Now obviously it's going to tell us how much money we made. It's probably going to be around 1.5 million. There you go, 1.56, and with the elite challenge complete, that's going to be another 50,000, so 1.6 million. 8 minutes, 4 seconds, there you go. So, pretty quick completion, especially for grabbing all the secondary targets. And I should mention that this was on normal mode. On hard mode, you get an additional $50,000 for the elite challenge, and an additional $100,000 for the primary target. So I actually would have made 1.76 million if I'd done that on hard mode, which is an insane amount of money. 1.76 million. That's crazy. This is why the Cayo Perico heist is still the best way to earn money in the game, and this is why I would highly recommend to take advantage of it if you haven't. I see so many people in my comment section say they're too scared to try it. What's the point of playing a game if you're too scared to do it? Do the Cayo Perico heist. It's a great way to earn money, and I mean, that really says everything you need to know. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to click that subscribe button down below. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.